Voila! Hi everybody, I am Amanda back again. I was here last night, I know, but I am still excited. I'm still exhausted. But anyway, the moment you've all been waiting for. Oh my gosh, this is it, yo. Today my guest is going to be, you already know, my super amazing comedian all the way in England. She's already live, which is a good thing. So for everybody who can join in, feel free to join in because I am going to be joined by Mr. Lorraine. Mr. Lorraine, you can request yourself if you want. I will try and request you from my end here. But okay, get ready to laugh, people. Get ready to laugh. Hi!
Yo, how are you?
I'm good. Do you mind tilting your camera?
Yeah, oh yes, that's one thing I was trying to check earlier on in terms of how this camera is going to work.
All right.
Yeah, chill. Let's.
Oh my God! It's good to have you live. I am so excited, just like everybody else.
It's good to be here.
Oh my gosh, that is so amazing. Welcome, Mr. Lorraine.
Thank you for having me.
No, that's all right. That's all right. It's so amazing to have you live today. I was like, okay, I need to talk to also a comedian. It would be nice to have a comedian on the show. And thank God I have you. A lot of people have been looking forward to this interview.
Cool. Let me just adjust this camera so my head isn't cut off. You need to see the whole hairstyle, man. I went to lengths to get this hairstyle done.
Right? Exactly. So what's the point of having a video with your head cut off, right?
Exactly. No, just bear with me 2 seconds.
No, that's all right. So in the meantime, let's welcome TEDx Tinashe. Today, guys, you can put in your comments. I'll be reading. Now I found a way on how to read the comments while we're doing this, while it's tilted. But to everybody else, Memo, Claudette, I think. Thank you guys for watching. And let's welcome Mr. Lorraine.
Thank you, people. So how's it going?
Oh, it is going. It's cold. How is it in England, though?
Surprisingly, today was a little bit sunny. So, when you start appreciating cold, sunny weather, then you're totally, you'll be messed up by the world. If you appreciate the cold, sunny weather, then something's wrong.
You know what's funny? I always told my Canadian friends, I was like, today I actually feel colonized. They're like, what do you mean you feel colonized? I'm like, because I'm adapting to your weather.
So
oh my gosh, no.
It was a cold, sunny day, so it's been good.
Oh, that is so great. No, that's all right. So let's dash right into it and get on with the program. Who is Mr. Lorraine? A lot of people have been correcting me, especially on my WhatsApp. They're like, Amanda, I think you did a typo. Did you say Mr.? And I'm like, no. And you already know. You know how people are. People are correct gurus, eh?
Exactly. The class monitors and prefects. You know how we do. Everyone wants to be a class monitor and your prefect and your headmistress.
I know. So I was like, yeah, come on. And then I put a caption to all my Zimbos who are correction gurus. Yes, go on. I know with Mr. Lorraine. I know what I wrote. So anyway, who's Mr. Lorraine and where are you from? What do you do?
So Mr. Lorraine is a journey. Mr. Lorraine has been on a journey. So it's just basically, all about the voice. Coming to England, I came to England a very, very long time ago. So, with all this internet banking, telephone banking, you know what it's like. The service providers don't want to see you, in their bank. They don't want to talk to you. So they'd rather, just you go on the phone, go on the internet. So a lot of the times you're trying to get into a service and you're phoning them. And now you're trying to get your account sorted, etc. They listen to your voice. They hear it's a man. You're spending time saying, no, I'm actually a woman, blah, blah, blah. But they start arguing with you again. You're definitely a man. You are a man because you sound like one. So every time one example is I had an account that I'd sorted out like in the shop, my mobile phone. So I made a call to them about something. And then the next thing I got letters addressed to Mr. Lorraine. So before it was Miss Lorraine, and the moment I spoke to them, they thought, oh, we've made a mistake. It's actually Mr. So they changed, my letters to Mr. Lorraine. So Mr. Lorraine is the voice. So a lot of the times I was just battling with people. They'll be calling me Mr., etc., etc. And then in the end, I just thought, you know what, I might as well just take the name. I can't run away from it. So that's how I... it was so easy. When I started doing comedy, it was so easy to think of, the name to go by. Mr. Lorraine was just there, So I didn't choose it. He chose me. And I ain't going back, really. That's the thing. So
because you're doing good. I was like, okay, that is so perfect. That's like a perfect name. And like you're saying, you didn't have to think of it. At least they chose it for you.
That's the thing. They chose it for me. So, I just thought, thank you for the freebie. So a lot of my comedy really started from all these funny interactions I've had with people. But a lot of it stemmed from, being upset. I was upset for quite a long time because you'd be arguing with people and then your account gets suspended, your account gets stopped. And you get inconvenienced. They want you to now go into the bank and sort this out, bring ID, etc., etc.
So legit, it was happening legit.
No, seriously, it's not even a joke. If you know people who know me, they'll tell you. So, a typical example, like this is the one thing that this example just stayed with me. It will stay with me forever. So I went, my account had been suspended, and then I thought, let me just go to the bank with my ID and sort all this stuff out. So I went to the bank. And then I had to call a customer service phone. So you're not allowed to speak to people who work in the bank. You have to call a phone. So I went onto the phone, spoke to somebody, and then again, apparently I'd failed security. And the security questions they asked me are like, your name, your date of birth, your address, things that you know, but they'll tell you, you failed. And they won't tell you, which aspect of that security question you failed. So they just tell you, oh no, sorry, you failed security. And for them, it's easy. They're on the other end. They'll just fail me and, do this, do that. So I was already in the bank. And then I was told the guy, I'm already in a bank. So I had to hand over my ID documents to one of the workers. So now these two people start having a conversation about me. And this woman, she looks on the side of her corner of her eye. She looks at me up and down. She's like, oh, yes, it's a woman. And I don't know what the other guy said. And this one was staring at my breasts for like 5 seconds. She's like, oh, yeah, yes, I'm sure. And then they share a joke, because I'm not hearing what they're saying. And then the next thing is I'm told, oh, yeah, you can use your account. But I'm the one who started this conversation. So I wasn't even allowed to finish the conversation with the guy in customer service I called. They just decided, fine, the conversation can be concluded. They just hung up the phone. Oh, yeah, you can go and, you can go and use your account now. So I just sat there. I went out, sat in my car. I was actually, on the brink of tears. And truly, I wanted to go and strip in that bank. I wanted to just go and take my clothes off and say, yes, I'm Lorraine, I'm a woman. Look at these.
Do you see this? Does this look fake?
Seriously, that's what I actually wanted to do. But then, because I work in like mental health services and it was also a local bank, I couldn't actually do it. So I had to kind of restrain myself. So I just sat in my car contemplating, what to do. And the thing is, previously, because I'd had so many incidents, I just realized, there was no point making a complaint. I would just be told, yeah, sorry, it won't happen again. And then, 2 months down the line, it will happen again. So the bank in the end, they called me because, they listened to some of these calls. And then they offered me like £75, compensation. But that £75 doesn't mean anything.
Doesn't buy it, yeah.
The humiliation that I'd actually, experienced because of that. So yeah, so that's the thing, you see. So from there, I just thought, how long am I going to continue, like this, where people just do whatever they want with you? Because people in customer service, some of them, they really don't care. You're just a transaction at the end of the day. When they finish with you, they're going to go to somebody else so they can tell you whatever the hell they want. So from there on, I just thought, F it. if you don't want to speak to me, then that's your problem. If you call my phone and you want to speak to Lorraine, I'm the one who's going to answer. If you don't like the person on the other end, that's your problem. Because I was just going to keep on, on this path of just being stressed, etc., etc. But it still goes on. But I think now I take it, sort of like differently. I've got a notepad and a pen and I'm writing jokes, whatever they say, I'm writing it down. I'm thinking, this is going to go on my next comedy set.
Now it's working in your favor. You know how sometimes the reason why you've actually gotten the voice, God wanted to use you in that way, in that sense.
Exactly.
And obviously there's going to be people who are going to come and say, oh my gosh, like you are getting frustrated, you are getting stressed and whatever, right? And you had to make a choice. Either embrace who you are, or,
that's the thing.
And
that's
just
the thing,
cry.
And the problem is, like, we make a lot of assumptions about people. We hear Lorraine's voice. She tells you, no, I'm not a man, but you go on and you've got your own conclusions that you've concluded, and you're not going to shift from that. So we look at people, the color of their hair, the color of their skin, etc., and from there we just make our own conclusions based on those assumptions. So that was the thing, people were just making their assumptions and making those decisions, and for me, and they didn't really sort of like think about how it impacts the other person. They just do whatever they do. And then they move on. So that was the issue, really. But for now, I just embrace it. And I think, what? I'll just take each day at a time.
I think to get to a point where you actually thought of suing them. Because, mind you, we're in a world...
Definitely. So that's the thing. Like, but here in England, just trying to find what you really can do. Seemed like quite a lot of limits. As, if somebody had called me a black... blah, 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 or somebody had been racially abusive or sexually harassed me, then I've got grounds to sue or grounds to seek legal action, but grounds to take somebody to court because the sound of your voice, it's something that probably I felt was just going to take me forever and ever trying to find, the legal standpoints as far as that is concerned. So in the end, I just gave up because I did, you go on Wikipedia and you Google a few things and you see, okay, what's the possibility? But I just thought, what can I actually do? I thought I felt as if there was nothing, so I felt quite powerless for a long time, and to the point where I actually avoided like these phone conversations or whatever. I'd avoid speaking to the bank, etc., etc. But then now, I just answer my phone. If you don't like the sound of my voice, then that's your problem, not mine.
Because guess what? Because you're going to make money with it.
so that's the thing. So, that's your problem, not mine. And Zimbos, man. Zimbos are a whole nother story. So when
I can imagine. Oh my God.
So every time I post something, sometimes you never get the feedback whether or not what you've done is funny. The main thing you want to know is this a man or is this a woman? And people are arguing amongst themselves, Obviously, I feel sorry sometimes for people who know me because they're in my corner trying to fight for my rights. And I'm just there laughing because people just say a whole bunch of nonsense. And I just have to laugh at it, really, And I just think, free comedy material, here it comes. For nothing. So.
I know. I remember even when I saw your first video, before I knew that my aunt is the friend, right? So then I said to her, because we go back and forth with some of this joke, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, look at this! This is so hilarious, right?" Because I was just laughing and stuff.
Which one was that one?
My friend, right? Like Pelly, Auntie Pelly.
Okay, yeah. We don't know which video was it.
The one, the Masese one. Oh, the I was like, oh my God, and I shared it with all my friends. I was like, oh my gosh, look at this. This is so hilarious. Right? But then I started asking people, I was like, but is it real though? About Nyaye Masese? Because I've never drank Masese, right? So I was just laughing, right? You know how when you're not asking, is it real? Or is she joking? And then my aunt was like, oh no, that's her real voice. I'm like, are you kidding? Oh my gosh, I really want to talk to her.
Yeah, so that's the thing, because a lot of the times people still think that I make it up, it's not real. But so even like, I remember I did a show the other day in February in Dudley, and then afterwards, I was speaking to somebody, they're like, oh, actually, that's your real voice. So she thought, I was on stage for like 45 minutes. So she thought, for 45 minutes, I was putting on this voice
Right.
And now I'm still speaking in that voice. Just thinking, actually, is this a real voice? Is this real? That sort of thing. But yeah, no, it is. It's real. It doesn't get any realer than this.
It doesn't get any realer. Actually, I have more questions about Mr. Lorraine. Like, is he no character for himself? So let me just go back to the theme of the whole Black History Month because this Black History Month, I've been looking around for inspiring women just like you. Like right now, we see a comment where it says, "Turn those negatives into positive." You're an inspiration to a lot of people. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
You could have taken it the other way, right? And said, "Oh my gosh, why are people doing this?" And be frustrated. And like you say, I think the other thing that helps is because you also work in mental health. You know how it is, right?
Exactly. That's the
thing. And you choose to take the positive, which is so amazing. So then I was like, you know what? Let me do a Black History Month and have Black girls, Black women around the world, who have something that's so inspiring to just share with the world. And so before we even just get into Mr. Lorraine, so according to you, what's your significance of Black History Month? Or would you think we should actually just have the 1 month to celebrate Black people? Or because lately I've been hearing different responses to that.
I think for me, the celebration should be ongoing. Because sometimes when we just keep it to a month, it just becomes, tokenistic, or we're just doing this, for Black History Month. And then after the month, we go back to whatever it is that we're doing. So I think it's good if we could actually just think of things beyond the month, and let it be something that we actually embrace and something that's ongoing, that we find moments to celebrate regardless of, we don't have to wait, this will be good for Black History Month, let's keep this for Black History Month. So whenever something good happens, let's celebrate it then. You know what it's like. So, so I think obviously it is good that we are actually putting it out there that, we're celebrating Blackness, etc. But I think we need to now move beyond it just being for the month. It has to be something that's, ongoing, given the issues that Black people still go through. Some of us, we're, raising Black kids, and we're, trying to get them to just love themselves for who they are, and trying to let them, kind of know what the world is like and what to expect. But I think we should be celebrating, all year round. That's my feeling, and not just compact everything. Because a month is, like February is like 28 days, and there's so much Blackness out there that's going on. We can't, compact it all in 28 days. You know what I mean?
I know.
And then afterwards, we're back to basics.
Right. Oh my gosh. No, that is so awesome. Thank you so much. And now back to Comedy Central. Done with our Black History Month. Comedy. Okay, so I'm like, what topic should I give this episode? I'm like, okay, she's a comedian. Let's do Comedy Central, right? So your videos, oh my gosh, like I already shared before I even knew you were friends with my aunt. I was already sharing videos and whatever, technology.
No, thanks. Yeah, that's a big.
Yeah, right. So your videos are trending, going viral because obviously of everything. It's just funny. It's comedy, right?
Yeah, no, thank you.
What got you interested though into saying, okay, now I want to do comedy and pursue that? And when did you start comedy?
So I used to do a lot of hip hop, etc., like rapping, poetry, that sort of thing.
Rapping?
Using the voice. Yeah. Oh, Mr. Lorraine.
Yeah. Okay, we'll get into that. You do like for us, yes, freestyle for us, but okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I used to do open mic sets, etc., for a long time, and I've recorded quite a lot of stuff, and so because I used to go on stage, I was quite comfortable with being on stage. But then the comedy bit was, I was just sitting there, So what happened was, in England, in Scotland, there's what's called the Edinburgh Comedy Festival, the Fringe Festival, that goes on for the whole month of August. So I've watched comedy on TV, and sometimes when you sit there, you actually think, maybe I could do this, or maybe, I can actually think of funny things, etc., etc. So I went to the Fringe in 2014, I think in 2015. Just as a spectator, watching shows, etc., etc. And then when I went there, I thought, what, I actually want to be performing. But then I wasn't too sure, exactly what it was going to be. So I remember the first time I went, there was some guy who was doing a spoken word. hip hop type of thing, and I thought, oh yeah, maybe I could do that. And the following year, we watched quite a lot of comedy. I was thinking, you know what, actually, you know, I could see myself on stage doing stuff, but then I didn't know, you know, what exactly it was going to be. And then it so happened that I was just discussing with a friend all these, you know, issues about my voice, etc., all the silly things people say. You know, it's like a whole list. It was like, oh, guess what happened yesterday? I spoke to the bank again, and this is what they did. Oh, guess what happened the other day? I spoke to the bank again. I spoke to this person. This, that happened. It was all, you know, when you think about it, it's just all funny, ridiculous things. And then she was like, you know what? You should go into comedy. So I sat there and thought, you know what, yeah, maybe actually, you know. And this was something that was at the back of my mind anyway, but you don't want to go out and think, oh, I should do comedy. So from there, I just thought, you know what, maybe I could do comedy. So I just started writing stuff. And then my husband and the kids, they went away to Zimbabwe. So as a free agent, I could be free with my madness. So what happened was...
Right? Yeah.
What happened was there was an open comedy mic thing that was happening. So I joined it on Facebook, and then they happened to have like an open slot. Somebody had dropped out. So I thought, you know what, shall I just put myself down? But then you had to bring people with you. So I managed to get friends to come, like 2 friends, they came with me. And then I just did my 5 minutes, and I don't even want to see that video again because it was hideous, but it was ridiculous, honestly. I was drunk as a skunk, you know, and the worst thing was, cause it was, so what happens is this place is called like Comedy Virgins, right? For people who are new into comedy. So this is my first time, right? And I'm sitting there and people are saying, oh, yeah, I've been doing this for a year. So I'm just thinking, you know, obviously comedy virginity, you know, it extends from, you know, you can be a comedy virgin for a year, 2 years, 3 years, for as long as you want to, you know.
Depending on how funny you are.
Exactly. So these people had actually been to this venue, performed comedy before, so they'd actually done it, because I thought it was just going to be us people who've never done comedy. All of us, it would be our first time. So I got there, and so they don't even give you an order of when you're going to perform. It was just random. So I'm there, first half, my name isn't called out, and then you're just thinking, oh my God, whatever I put myself down for, am I like really serious? More drinks. And then I performed like the third person from the end. I went there, I just did what I did, but it was good. I came first, I got the trophy for the day, for that night. And from there I thought, oh, actually, you know what, it could work. So, and then from there I just thought, you know, I'm just going to do this. So I'm just learning the craft, etc., etc. But I think that first experience was really good because it went well. And I think that's just what made me think, you know, actually I could do this. So, and because the stories that I'm talking about is not things that I've, you know, made up and stuff. I think it makes it easier for me, you know. Exactly. Because as I was sitting in that pub, you know, waiting for my turn during the break, other people were with their friends, you know, they've written all these jokes and they're like, oh, tell me, is this really funny? Oh, tell me, is that really, you know, that sort of thing, oh, tell me, is this really funny? But for me, I was just telling the story as it is. And you know that's how it was gonna go. So yeah. So since then, I've just been, you know, doing like open mic nights, etc., and kind of learning how the comedy world works, because it's different from, you know, if you're performing hip hop and rap. Because if you're performing hip hop and rap, people want to hear their favorite songs of yours, etc. Whereas if you're doing comedy, sometimes you get a good 5 minute set that you perform regularly, and you have to get it solid, etc. So initially when I started, I kept changing my jokes unnecessarily instead of, you know, mastering that good 5 minutes, you know, that sort of thing. So I was just learning the craft, etc. And then from there, you know, I just went on, and then I managed to get a slot for a TED talk, like locally. And I just spoke about Mr. Lorraine. So my TED talk really, I think, is what kind of made me think, you know what, I've got something here. Because even now, you know, people I meet who were there at the TED talk, who watched the TED talk, you know, they were inspired because I was just telling it like it is, and obviously put in a few jokes, but then they kind of got to just think about things differently. Because it's not something that you think, you know, affects somebody, but, you know, it does. So from there, I've just been going on and on and on,
And how was your experience? How was your experience with being on TED Talk, and what did it make you feel? How did it make you feel? Thinking, okay, if I can go on TED Talk, and then what else can I do, right?
Exactly. So that's the thing. So the TED Talk, what happened was had a small event and then they were going to have a big event. So I didn't realize that there was a big event planned. So I signed up for the October one, which was a small event. There were about 50 people. So I just wrote my talk. And the main thing with the TED Talk is you can talk about yourself, but they want to know what are you going to give people, what are people going to leave with. You have to have a message for people, whatever it is you decide to talk about. You need to have that message for people. So I did my talk, and the message was just about assumptions and how they affect people, and just accepting ourselves, etc., etc. So that went well. And then I realized that, oh damn, they have the flagship talk. I was like, oh, I should have just signed up for the bigger talk instead of the small one. But then because I did the small one and it really went well, when I applied for the flagship, they were like, yeah, definitely, we were hoping you're going to apply. So my small talk was sort of like, it propels the bigger venue, because the bigger venue had about 1,000 people. It was sold out, and I knew now what I wanted to do, and I made it more of a performance than anything, and it really went well. And then from there, I thought, you know what, I'm going to the Edinburgh Fringe and I'm doing my own show. So last year I did my own show, my one-woman Mr Lorraine show at the Edinburgh Fringe, which I wrote, directed, sang the theme tune, wrote the theme tune, etc., etc. But yeah,
wow,
it went really well.
Wow, that is so great. It's really inspiring, to be honest, because if you can turn something that somebody could actually kill themselves over and make it good and end up on TikTok, I hope somebody else out there who's going through something that's similar to what you're doing.
Yeah, and the thing is with TikTok,
so, yeah.
Sorry, you're saying?
Actually, no, go ahead, sorry.
Oh, no, I was just saying about the TED Talks. From there, that there's loads of TED Talks that happen around.
We're losing you.
It's not complex. You're losing me.
Yeah. Now I have you. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So with the TED Talks, they happen around the world, and anyone can host a TED Talk. So a lot of the things we see TED Talk on TV, and we think it's complicated, when it really isn't complicated. So that just made me think, oh, you know what? There's a lot of things out there that we can do we never actually think of or think about, Yeah.
And we're the only people who actually stop ourselves from doing anything at all, really.
Definitely.
Out of fear.
That is one
Out
thing.
of
That's
fear.
exactly. The fear is what stops us. But I think for me, I've managed to conquer, the fear. You got me yet?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, so I think a lot of the times your fear is what just stops us from doing a lot of things. We're just afraid of how people are going to see it, how people are going to laugh, or what are people going to say. And I think being Zimbabweans, we always worry about what Mr. Moyo from next door will think about it. That's what we always stop ourselves. Even our relatives will stop us to think, you're going to embarrass us or you're going to embarrass the family. But we never think of just doing things as an individual. Like, I'm doing this for myself and I want to do it for myself, and therefore I'm going to do it. We're always going to worry about how other people are going to see it. What are they going to think? And that stops us. So I think for kind of overcome a lot of my fears, obviously there's still quite a few things that I need to work on, but I think
let's try that again and see how this works. Okay.
Hello?
Yes, hallelujah. I'm getting depressed now.
Technology or Varoi, one of the two.
I know, hey? I know. You shouldn't inspire people.
Exactly,
But anyway, thank you so much for having you back. And Catherine was saying, Ethel, they be my sister. Oh, my. Oh, okay. I'm trying to remember. What were we talking about?
Well, no, we're just talking about fear, how fear.
Oh, fear. Yes.
Doing things, So a lot of people ask me, oh, how did you do that? How do you actually just get on stage? But just trying to let them know, I just get on. And, obviously, were you afraid? Were you nervous? Yes, I'm nervous, but...
yeah, obviously. Yeah.
You just have to overcome it. Otherwise, the fear just consumes you. So
right.
fear is something that's, going to be present. It's part of it, but you have to find out how do you actually overcome that fear. I think that's the main thing, really. Like for me, so like going on stage, you know, like when I did the TED Talks, like 1,000 people, I was thinking, what the hell, you know, am I doing here? But then I just kind of just zoned out, and I've been a disciple of this motivational speaker called Anthony Robbins. Who does like, you know, quite a lot of like seminars, etc. So he's got like a few techniques that he just talks about. So for me, before a show, I just like zone out. People, you know, trying to talk to me, but I'm not even listening to what they're saying. So I just zone out and just kind of prepare myself, get myself ready. So by the time I'm actually on stage, I've already worked myself through it. I know what to expect, you know, I've prepared myself. So the fear is there, but people won't even know that I'm afraid. Inside I am, but I'll just get on and do it.
I know, and it's something that we actually have to fight against, because fear is there to stop us from doing what we're supposed to do, really. That's the whole purpose of fear. Fear has to stop us, but it's up to us to say, you know what, I'm going to defeat your fear, because you do not belong into my life.
I think people should just accept that fear is part of it, it's part of life, but we're not going to allow it, you know, to overcome us. But no, yeah.
Oh yeah, and so you actually mentioned that you're married and you have kids, which is something that's so funny. So like, okay, so with your voice, let's start with that. With your voice, how did he approach you and decide, wow, I want to get married to Lorraine? Like, was it a comedy when it all happened, or?
To ask him, you're just gonna have to ask him. I suppose, you know, even with my voice, he always, you know, he just loved the voice anyway from the beginning. So it was something that I actually never, you know, thought about. And I think for me, even now just thinking about it, it seems like the voice is getting deeper and deeper the more years I add onto my life. So I don't know how or where it's gonna end. Because when I was in Edinburgh last year, I was talking to these women, and I was asked a question that I actually never thought about. They're like, "Oh, did you ever get any medical test or like get your like testosterone levels checked or whatever?" And I actually never. No. Obviously, they're just saying, you know, probably, you know, because the voice might be influenced that maybe about like high testosterone levels or whatever. It's never something that I actually, you know, thought of myself. But then I wouldn't go to the extent of, you know.
I know, right?
It is what it is, you know. Hopefully, I'm going to be on the Ellen show and whoever else's show soon. So let the voice get us paid. You know, that's the thing. Without the voice, we wouldn't be having this conversation. You know what I mean?
I know, right? Oh, oh my God, that is so hilarious. And so when you decided, okay, you wanted to break out into comedy and start comedy, how was the support system in terms of your family? Your kids saying, "Oh no, mommy, you're going to embarrass us. Like, why are you doing that?" And your husband saying, "Are you serious? Is that what you want to do?"
No, actually, my husband's been very, very supportive. I don't think I'd actually be doing this if he wasn't this supportive. So he just lets me go on and get on with my madness. Kids will always be embarrassed, you know. That's part of them. They're always sort of like, you know, thinking, "Oh, mommy, what's this?" You know, that sort of thing. My kids have always been, but my husband's been very, 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 very supportive. So a lot of the times, you know, you have to be in dodgy places at dodgy times, meeting dodgy people. But he just lets me, you know, get on with it. You know, I don't have to be explaining myself, you know, a thousand times. And even like when I wanted to go to Edinburgh, he stayed, you know, with the kids, etc. Because I was there for like 2 whole weeks. And like this year, I'm hoping to do like a whole month. So, you know, it's been good. I don't know about my siblings and stuff. They probably think, "Oh God,
I know, eh?
I lost the plot." But you know, once I get famous, they'll be phoning me and, you know, wanting that and the other, and then we'll talk. But
VIP tickets, VIP seats, and all that jazz.
Exactly. My mom, you know, like there's a video that I did with the insurance company, and she was getting scented by random people. They're like, "Oh, look at this." They're like, "Oh, she's my daughter," you know, that sort of thing. So I think the word is getting around, and that's how we like it. That's how we want it, you know.
Yeah. Oh my God, that is so funny. So I saw you Toto. Actually, before we even go to the Toto challenge, the challenge, you know, so hilarious. Okay, so who do you, in terms of audience, who do you really cater to in terms of your audience? What's your audience like?
At the moment, I just want to be versatile. That's the truth. Because, for example, let's say if I'm doing, like, I did a show that was like at a Zimbabwean venue, like for Zimbabwe. So that show, I was really happy with how it went, because I kind of just put things on a Zimbabwean perspective. So I didn't want to go there and start, just talking about like England related things, and whatever, but it was just more, or just talk about myself. But whatever I said, it was just more about things that are happening in Zimbabwe, and putting some Shona jokes, because there's some things that used to happen in Zimbabwe that we all just never think of, and I just kind of made people think about it. For example, like, like when we're kids, I don't know about you, but your parents could send you to go and buy beer and cigarettes, at a young age, and you're just thinking, what? I could never send my kids to Tenga,
oh yeah,
and cigarettes, they need ID, you have to be 18. So those are the things that we're just thinking about. What the hell were parents thinking? And then so you go there and then you steal like 20 cents and you buy this sherbet that leaves your lips red, and then you say, oh,
I know.
I
miss
money.
that.
That's Maria, I've lost money, I've lost the money, I've lost the change. But then you get there, your lips are red, your tongue is red, and they know, but you're thinking, dude, you sent me to buy you beer and cigarettes. Surely I should get something, from this.
How are you paying me? I need a sherbet.
Exactly. So just talking about, about those things, and then, that was a perfect time for us to try things like beer. Because, you could go to the shops, buy beer, try it, and just say, somebody stole the beer, or I got robbed, and you come home drunk. But we never, tried beer that way. We'd come back home with the beer, with the cigarettes, etc., all intact. We just steal that 20 cents and we get into more trouble, that sort of thing. So those things are just talking about, just being Zimbo, some of the things that we go through. So, yeah. So I think just depending on the crowd, you have to, when you're doing a show, you kind of have to know the crowd that you're catering to and try and kind of cater to the crowd. So that's what I try and do. If I know it's mainly Zimbo, then we want some Zimbo things and can, talk about things that are happening.
Which is relatable, right? It's relatable because of where we come from too, right?
Exactly. No, that's the thing. So that's how that's how I try and do it. But there's a lot to learn, and a lot of people I look up to as well. But for me, I'm just learning and adjusting things and just carrying on, because it's a tough world out there. You're trying to get the right platform, etc., and make it to that point where you're actually starting to make money. Because now, it's now and again that you get good gigs. A lot of the times you're just doing like open mics and this, that, though sometimes you're just performing for free. Exactly. Yeah.
Wow, that is so super amazing. So now on the Toto challenge, the garden challenge. Oh my God. When I think of your comedy, I am so sorry. I'm like, wow, okay, when do you think about it? And the seriousness, I'm like, okay, right? So like you say on your video, you're looking for people to laugh at you.
Exactly. That's the thing, just
right? And make you famous. Do you think you've actually accomplished that? Do you think you've actually accomplished that?
Like in the last week, I've had almost like almost 900 people get on my page, just from the last week's events. So I think I'm doing pretty well. And I mean, even with that sort of thing, when I went out to the garden, the plan was just to do like a 20-second thing just out there, and then madness took over, and before I knew
know, right?
My bra was on the table, I had lettuce on the table, etc., and the madness just took over. But that's just how it is. I think that's the thing. Like, a lot of the times I've got all these ideas, but sometimes you have to do them in the moment. And sometimes I never know how it's going to end. I just start it, and then I never know how it's going to end.
Right? Yeah, that was so funny when I was like, oh, Toto challenge. When was the last time I heard the term Toto? You know what I mean? And then I'm thinking, okay, let's wait for this. How is this challenge supposed to go, right? And then you're like, okay, I'm going to leave the Toto challenge. Let's do the garden challenge because I want people to laugh at me. I'm like, wow. And it actually worked in your favor because you are a comedian, a natural comedian, and you had to go through what you had to go through for you to try and figure out, to bring out joy out of it anyway.
That's the thing.
More than you being upset about it. So, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I know we live in a microwave society now, where everybody wants to see themselves somewhere in a year. If
Yeah, I know exactly. I mean, for me, in 5 years, I actually see myself in Hollywood acting something. I am definitely putting my name out there. Seriously,
Yeah.
I'm not, kind of boxing myself. I'm happy to do, because I think, like with my voice, there's so many things, crazy things I think about. I could actually, do. I think I could make a good drug dealer. The police will be out there listening to phone calls, looking for a man. And I'm coming out of my house and they're thinking, no, we don't have the right house. So it will take them time to even catch me, that sort of thing. So there's so many things that this voice can do. So for me, I'm looking, getting into acting, whatever. I'm quite sort of like open. I'm not, kind of restricting the potential and, what I actually do. So I'm seeing myself in Hollywood. That's where I'm going to be at. So
it's never too late. And if you could tell like people out there, it's never too late to do whatever it is that you want to do. And right now, the fact that you're even talking Hollywood, you're talking, okay, there's a lot that my voice can do. What am I thinking right now? I'm thinking Tyler Perry. You know what I mean? I'm thinking, look at Tyler Perry. Yeah. Tyler Perry created Madea.
Exactly.
And you do not even need to create. You already have your own voice.
It's there. So that's the thing. So I think a lot of the times we limit ourselves to what
we do.
And the thing is, a lot of the times we also just want things to succeed instantly. So the moment I started, people were like, oh, Sakash, name Maria. Oh, I'm going to Edinburgh for a show. Also, are you going to charge people? Are you going to get money? When I went to Edinburgh, I lost a lot of money. But to be honest, I actually don't regret what I did, because what I saw there was that actually I created this show, and the people who came to the show were like actually wowed, and they were like, wow. So that kind of just gave me that, belief that I can do something amazing. So it takes a lot of time to kind of establish yourself. And for me, so a lot of the times when I think about the money or whatever, but it's just for the art, doing it for the art. So for me, it's limitless, where I see myself. I'm quite somebody who's open-minded as well. I'm willing to try, things, etc. I wouldn't say, oh no, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that,
That's
quite open-minded, so we will get there, definitely.
Oh, definitely. And I will see you in Hollywood on my show again. When we do a catch up,
Exactly.
we'll be like, remember. When you were still in England, I was still in Canada, and we did a live.
No, that's the thing. And like for me now, I'm just trying to see how I can do a little tour around, like, countries where there are a lot of Zimbos, and kind of do a little bit of the Zim vibe kind of things. I've got a lot of people, following me now, etc. So I just want to kind of capitalize on that. So that's what I sit here thinking in my head, I need to go to Dubai, I need to come to Canada, I need to go to Australia.
I was just about to ask, when are you touring Canada? We need you live and direct here. We need you.
Definitely thinking about, how do we get to the next stage and start, doing shows, etc. Because the show that we did here in Dudley in February, we went really, really well. People were receptive, so we're just trying to see, how do we move things to the next step, really, and get people out, watching comedy. Because I think one of the other things is sometimes, people want you to do comedy where there's live music, etc. But then people want to come for comedy. You want to be in a space where people can actually pay attention to what you're doing, that sort of thing. So that's the other issue where sometimes people are like, oh yeah, we're having this music festival. Oh, do you want to come and do 15 minutes? But for me, it doesn't really work that way, because you want people, because comedy is more for people to listen, you want people to be paying attention, and they have to be there for the comedy, that sort of thing. So those are the things that, I'm hoping I can just capitalize on and just get on tour and, take it from there, really.
Oh, wow. I like the mindset where you already have your own vision and you already see what you want to do, where you want to go. And I wish everybody could just see themselves in like that, you know what I mean, in everything that they do, because people limit themselves with doubting, oh, but who am I to think this way? Or
exactly.
It's a dream.
And the other thing, like for me, what I think of doing now is, trying to get into voiceover work, that sort of thing. All these voiceovers, all these adverts, I can use my voice for that, I can sell.
I know.
Sort of thing, So yeah.
Oh my God, that is so super amazing. Yeah. Oh my God, that is so great. And definitely we'll follow up with that. And definitely we're gonna have you back on the show, but live and direct.
Definitely.
Not on technology, but next to you.
Exactly.
So have you ever faced any challenges in your pursuit of comedy or everything that you've ever done? Say open mic, rapping, and all that. What challenges have you faced? Just to help other people.
I mean, so for example, like in comedy, the challenge is trying to get onto, because you have to start small. You have to start in the open mic sort of like scene, writing material. Sometimes, the material that you write doesn't really work depending where you are, depending on the day that you're having. So those are the challenges, and then trying to establish yourself and get yourself to the next place. So for example, like where I live, right, there's somebody who does like a good night, just like a 5-minute drive from me. So I keep sort of like emailing this guy because he will put out a message, he's looking for comedians to do 10 minutes, etc. I'm like, I'm here, I live like 5 minutes, I'm local, etc. And you never get a response. So obviously people who were quite well established, they obviously, they hold the purse strings. So you're trying to beg, for a spot. You're trying to beg this, you're trying to beg for that. So it's difficult trying to get yourself onto the next steps. Sometimes, it takes a bit of luck, and a lot of times it just takes a lot of perseverance. You have to be driving. Sometimes, some of these gigs are like miles and miles away, but if you don't go even for that 5-minute gig, like 100 miles away, it could be the gig that takes you, to the next level. So those are
you never know who's among the crowd, right?
Exactly. So that's the thing. So even now, like trying to balance work and needing to be at an open mic set, that's been really, really difficult because you have to work to feed the kids, but then you think, I need to, this day when I'm supposed to be working, I need to be doing comedy, or this is clashing with that. So just trying to find that little bit of space. But this, like now, my kids are a lot older. They things that I need to do for them are a lot less. So I've got a little bit of freedom in how how things work. So yeah, but it is a challenge. But I think you just have to have the love for it. So like for me, if I'm going to perform comedy, I just wake up, I'm energized. It's not like work. You're just thinking, yes, this is what I want to do. So you just have to have the love for it and just be willing to do whatever you're doing and just carry on with it. And yeah, exactly. And just think about the long term. What are you actually in it for? And for me, it's just, I just love being on stage. I love performing. So yeah, so that's what. But it is. It's not easy, but you just have to. And you don't get paid much, or you don't even get paid. You're just doing it for free for now. But obviously, thinking about the bigger picture. And then you see, obviously, when people are when they're trying to hire people, they're like, okay, we got this comedy gig, we get, offering 500 quid, but then they just won't take Tom, Dick, and Harry. It has to be, you have to have TV credits, you have to have won some competition, you have to have this person review you, etc., etc. So trying to get those credits and all those things, that's what the challenge is. But I think on the other hand, like with technology and Facebook and whatever, the good thing is now, you can be your own, you can be sort of your own champion. You can do if I wasn't doing skits, then, people wouldn't know who I am, that sort of thing. So I can, in the meantime, while I'm waiting for something else to happen, I can just, do little skits, just put a few feeds here and there. Yeah. So there's a limit, there's no limit to what you can actually do. You can be creative around, your comedy, which is good with the internet and everything else. So even though they challenge, I think there's always ways around few things. Even though went and gone viral, sometimes it's not, the one video they did. When you go back, you realize, oh, this person's been doing this for years.
Quite a bit.
Yes. Then eventually that's when it's all, worked out for them. So you just have to pursue it, really.
Wow, that is so amazing. And right now, as we still continue talking, we're open to questions to everybody who's out there. If there's any question, or if there's anything that you didn't get out of Mr. Lorraine, feel free to ask questions.
To ask.
I know she is ready to answer all your questions. Or if you want to book her, she will give you. Or actually, I will put her handles on my social media so you can follow her. And like on Facebook, she's on Facebook. She has a YouTube channel, obviously.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you're on Twitter. I haven't checked.
I'm on Twitter. Yeah, Mr. Lorraine is everywhere. I'm actually in the process of trying to sort out a website.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Twitter, everywhere, Facebook, YouTube, I'm there. I'm on Snapchat, but Snapchat is something that I'll leave it for my kids for now, man. I think I'm too old, you know.
You're not old for anything. Social media, you have to put yourself out there. Whether you like it or not, you have to put yourself out there. Be it on Snapchat.
I need to revisit it. I bought a Snapchat account which I hardly use, but
right.
You never know, you know.
Yeah. So anyway, let's talk about the whole freestyling. You mentioned that you were a rapper.
You should go on my YouTube channel, man.
What's that?
The Mr. Well, I used to be called the fat lady. PHATTLDA. Yeah, the fat lady.
Wow.
You know, I've got tracks out there. Seriously, man. That used to be what I used to. I started doing like rap for like years. How old am I now? So probably 2.5 decades ago. You know, I was out there rapping and doing all sorts. Seriously, and it's just the whole voice thing. Because my voice was like this probably, in my teenage years, high school and stuff. So I could maybe bust a few rhymes and stuff. And we used to do quite a lot of stuff at church, etc. So, yeah. And then, like, I suppose just writing, like, that's one thing I enjoy, just writing lyrics and writing stuff. Even now, I do a lot of writing. I've got lots of things I've written, a lot of things I want to work on. But then just getting the time, what I think, if I can just get rid of my day job but keep the money, then I'll be in a good place. Because a lot of the times you need to be doing these things, but you have to work, you have to be working.
Obviously, you have bills to pay still. Bills will never wait for you. Bills never say, okay, we're waiting for you to become famous and then you can pay us.
Exactly. So that's the thing, you see. But no, I used to do a lot of I think for me, like, music and just performance is what I'm really, really passionate about, and sometimes, like, I used to think, let me just forget about this music or whatever it is. But then something comes to my mind and I cannot, let it go, or I start writing stuff, so like my phone is full of rhymes and full of ideas, full of comedy. And that's a good thing these days, your phone, you can just make notes. Before, you used to walk around with sheets and sheets of paper or notebooks, But then
I actually still do that. I prefer writing.
I've got my notebooks, but I think the beauty of the phone is you can just put something down instantly. Watch it thinking, just put it instantly, and then you can work on it later. Whereas before, you have to think, do I have a pen, do I have a paper, whatever. Whereas on the phone, you can just think of something, you jot it down, you save it's there. Or you've got an idea, you can just make a voice note. It's there, You don't have to now think, oh God, okay, let me find paper. By the time you find paper, it's gone, or it's not the same as it was at that moment in time. So
right.
That's the good thing about having phone, etc., which you can just put stuff getting on,
And then we got a comment here from Insecure Fitness saying you performed on big stages. Brixton, she was there. Wow. Right? So I'm like, wow, people who were there, who've been there when you started, and you're mentioning that sometimes when people end up becoming famous, or it's not overnight success, it's from
Brixton.
I
used to go to Brixton like on Fridays. There used to be this place where they used to do like an open mic night. I remember I went there, I did like 5 songs, and it was really sort of like working well. But then I've always, when things are sort of like propelling, you've got that momentum, something just used to happen, and it kind of just bring you back, and you think, oh God, you just now stick to the day job, etc., and then you kind of forget it. But then still at the back of my mind, all these ideas. And because for me, one of the things that I'm actually going to do is I'm going to record an album, and I'm just going to stick to the name Mr. Lorraine.
Yes!
That's what it is. Because I started off as Lady Low, and then the fat lady, but now it's just Mr. Lorraine full stop.
Oh, stick to that one. And already
but
people now know you as Mr. Lorraine internationally too, right? And even we got a comment here from my friend Tanaka is like, mad love and respect for you, Mr. Lorraine.
Oh, thank you. Right?
So and I miss you too, Tanaka. Thank you so much. And before we go, apparently there are no questions, and I think you've answered more than they were expecting, which is so amazing. I love that, and thank you so much. It was lovely to have you. But before you go, any words of encouragement to anybody trying to pursue their purpose or in specific comedy? Because sometimes getting into comedy, you'll be thinking, oh my gosh, or maybe you think, oh, I'm funny, but then sometimes you're like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Or sometimes it's just one of those, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, but then you're actually funny. You know what I mean? So what advice would you give to what word of encouragement would you give to anybody who's trying to pursue their purpose or comedy?
So, I mean, for example, let's say from a Zimbabwean perspective, it's not something that we're sort of like ultimately encouraged to do, just to pursue the art, you know. But then there's quite a lot of people who are artistic. There's some people, when they open their mouth, they're just so funny. You're thinking, oh my God, you should be on stage. So sometimes you have to think about who you are. You know, if you're that type of person, then some of these things you can just start writing ideas down. Because there's quite a lot of places and spaces you can be, you know. People can be writers, you know, for comedians. Because some of the comedians, for example, they struggle to get material. But then actually, there are people who write comedy for them, and then the people will get paid. So, you know, for example, people like Richard Pryor. There's a guy called Paul Mooney, who, you know, I don't know if you know Paul Mooney. He is a writer for comedians. So he used to write for comedians. You'd never know him. You wouldn't be the person on stage. But he'd be writing. So there's quite a lot of things that we can tap into, you know. But if you want to do something, you just try it out. That's the thing. You know, especially like in the diaspora, there's so many avenues, so many places you can go. You know, your local pub will have like an open mic night. So you don't even have to go far. You know, that's the thing. There's always avenues, and especially now, for example, where you've got the internet. You know, that's a good platform to just try out things and start them out. That's how I sort of like started when I. You know, even though I was doing what I was doing, but then when I started thinking, okay, let me record little skits. You know, I started with one skit. I don't know if you ever saw it. This is like, after that cool thing, I did some skits. I
will look it up. But what's it called?
I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you because I did that skit and send it to other people, and then it ended up on these other websites that I didn't even know of. You know, that sort of thing, which is crazy. But you know, but then that's the thing. You know, if you want to do something, you have to kind of think. You know, just the first step is always the hardest, but then that's the most important.
And once
exactly. Once you start that first step, then you can be tapping into this. Loads of. I think this now. If I was 20 years ago, if this was now, then, Mr. Lorraine would have blown up ages. Because
a long time ago.
We used to do this, but we didn't have no YouTube. We didn't have anywhere to propel ourselves. We didn't have those platforms. But now, there's just so much. You can even be in the comfort of your own home recording stuff and just putting it out there. And people kind of get to know you, and people share things, etc. But if you just keep things in your head and not put it out there, then it's pointless. I think that's the thing. For ideas, you put them down, you put it out, because you can spend a lot of time now saying, oh, you know what? Years ago, I thought of doing this, but I never did it. 15 years, you'll be now telling your grandchildren of the things that you could do, the things you wish you could do, but what's the point now? So there's so many things, it's endless, and we're a talented people. There's so many talents that we have. But we I think the fear, we're always afraid of what people will think. I am now one person who just actually, if I'm happy doing something, then I'm happy to do it.
Then do it.
If you ever see a dodgy video of mine, just know I was happy to do it. So don't watch
a dodgy video of yours. I know. Oh my God. And then right now we've been getting so many questions actually when you're talking.
I'm happy.
Yeah, so I see a question where Insecure Fitness was like, questions to both of you. Do you think you will come to a point where you will take, I can't even see here, you will take substantial from your day jobs to give 100% of,
And even for me,
100% into your careers.
that's where I'm headed. That's
everybody's dream.
And for me, it's good to think about, I wish I could give up my day job, etc. But now I'm actually making the moves to keep myself busy, get on with it, because that's where I want to go to take a sabbatical and give up your day job. Yeah, that's the thing. Like for me, I've got a few, major sort of like financial commitments, but I'm not allowing them to stop me from at least getting there. That sort of thing. Like for me now, I'm just thinking there's so many things I want to do, and they're not going to stop me. But I see myself, where I'm going to head is just where I don't have to do my day job, where I can, I wake up in the morning, I'm going to a coffee shop, I'm going to be writing, etc. And then I know in the evening I'm performing somewhere, that sort of thing. That's where I see myself. That's where we actually just need to be. I can see a friend of mine, Miss Miscano, has joined in.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are joining in. So I hope Insecure Fitness, you've been answered. Where Mr. Lorraine was saying everybody wishes that. She also wishes that one day she'll get to a point where she's making enough money in comedy that the only thing that she's doing is just waking up, going to write her comedy. Same as me, like. You don't even, me, I already have I have a lot of things to do, but it's only the time. Right? And sometimes I sleep at 4 in the morning working on my personal, this is my baby. You know what I mean? Working on my baby, and in the morning, 6 o'clock, you have to be up going to work. That's 2 hours of sleep. You know what I mean? That's 2 hours of sleep. You have to go to work. You have your 8 hours of work. And they already know at work I sleep at lunchtime. Lunchtime, I need to take my break. If I'm not reading, I am sleeping. But it's because we all want to pursue our dream, our passion, our purpose, and end up doing it 100% full time eventually.
No, that's the thing. Mm-hmm. But if that's what you want to do, then you have to make the moves. Because a lot of the times we're just talking about what we want to do, what we dream of doing.
Yeah.
But it's just making
but you have to do it.
I think, like for me now, I'm just trying to balance. Okay. This day, I am definitely not working because I've got something very important that I need to do for comedy. This day, I can't work because, I'm not saying, okay, let me just go to work. But I think like last year, I spent quite a bit of time just, let me work. But now I just think, there's certain days when work is just going to have to wait. And I just have to be, if I need to be 100 miles away, then that's where I'm going to be. Like for me, I'm just thinking August, I need to be in Edinburgh. Whatever else happens, I don't care, but I'm going to have to be in Edinburgh, in August, that sort of thing. Because that's the comedy festival, and, anyone and everyone in comedy, wants to be there, needs to be there. So I'm thinking, I need to be in that space. Because sometimes if you're in that space, when you surround yourself, with people who are where you want to be, then you kind of gives you that, that encouragement that kind of propels you.
Yeah.
And even your vision even becomes a lot clearer when you're surrounding yourself with that sort of like that crowd, those sort of people.
That is so true. And even I think I was about to give another example of having to always put yourself out there. It doesn't matter what anybody says or anybody thinks, because you are the driver and the conductor of your life.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Or whatever it is. So everybody wants to end up having financial freedom, doing what they love, and be happy doing what they love. And as you were talking about managing your time and stuff like that, even I have a full-time job, but sometimes I think, okay, I have vacation days. But on those vacation days, how am I going to manage them? Yes, I also love to travel, right?
Yeah.
I have days where I'm like, okay, on my vacation days this year, maybe I'm going to take 10 days for traveling, right? And I still have maybe 5 or 10 more, right? Mm-hmm. Those 5 or 10 more is I am going to sick, ask for vacation days while I'm pursuing this. What if there's an event where they require me to do a red carpet event? I want to be there and put in my vacation. You have to. Sometimes some of those jobs, yes, we have an 8 to 5, but know how to utilize your 8 to 5. You have to pay your bills, and then at the same time invest that money to put it into your dream or into your vision, right? And I hope that answered Insecure Fitness's question. And also I got another question from Tanaka saying, quick question, how do you deal with a non-responsive crowd? This is directed to you, Mr. Lorraine, because I also do MC events, and sometimes the crowd is not responsive to the point where you're like, okay, like, how do you want me to be funny? How else?
Yeah. So for me, that's one thing I'm still learning, because comedy is sort of like different. There's some people who are quite good at just improvising, and their comedy just works with the crowd, etc. And sometimes when the crowd is non-responsive, for me, what I just do is I just do my set and do what I've come to do, and just kind of get off stage. And then from there, because what I tend to do is I'll record myself, either audio or video, and then I kind of play it back. And then from there, I'll see maybe where I went wrong. But sometimes it's just the crowd. I used to do a lot of DJing. That's one of my other skills. So I used to DJ a lot, like at parties, etc. And you're playing good music, but then if people are not responsive, that's what it is. So there's always this saying, people will be like, I'll have to say this in Shona, that and the music and you don't bore, but you have to tell the person you don't know bore.
I know, right? I know you don't know bore. I totally understand.
Good music, good tunes, and people are just not dancing. So sometimes, if the crowd is not responding, don't sort of like be so upset with yourself. Sometimes it's just the people, and then that's how it works. And sometimes you have those days where things are good, and
you have to be ready for it, right?
Oh yeah, both my baby shower days.
Oh, when you get to
baby
perform.
showers and end parties and stuff like that. So Itai's baby shower.
Oh, you actually had Itai's baby shower?
Yeah, I was the DJ.
Oh dear, wow. And then another question, don't know if it was already asked. Any future tours or plans, specifically Canada? Okay, so Tulani, you missed that one.
I will put this out. If there's a promoter or anyone who wants to bring Mr. Lorraine to Canada, even Madam Boss was in Canada, so whoever, if you know whoever, just tell me the word. I've got a bag packed already. That is just
ready to come to Canada. I know.
I'm just gonna pick it up and go. So the bag is packed. I am ready. Absolutely ready to go. Like for me, that's the thing. Now I'm not going to just keep myself boxed here. I'm actually seeing myself out there, touring, etc. And I think that's sort of the thing, like being a female and being in comedy. Unfortunately, it's quite male dominated. Most of the promoters are men, etc., etc. And there's quite like a Nigerian comedy, sort of like a scene where it's quite big, etc. So you want to think, as an African, can you kind of get in there? They're paying good money, but getting in there it's difficult. But you just have to. For me, I'm sort of like not boxing myself. Anything goes. I'm quite happy to do anything, this, that, and the other. But it's the challenges that you face. But for me, I'm happy. I'm gonna get there.
Wow. So Canadian promoters, you hear that? Canadian promoters, woo, woo, woo. Do you want me to call you by name now? I know people. But anyway, definitely we're going to see you here, and we look forward to the moment that you come here. And hopefully, maybe, actually not hopefully, maybe, definitely that's when we'll actually have you in the studio and sit down.
Oh yeah, there's no way I'm coming to Canada not being in your studio.
Right, exactly. So we look forward to it. We look forward to that, and we just hope everything goes well for you. And I hope everybody has asked all the questions that they wanted to ask. And she said a whole lot that you definitely want to watch this afterwards. And obviously, this is just going to be on IG for 24 hours, but guaranteed it is going to be on YouTube as well, so you can still watch it later on and get to know who Mr. Lorraine is and where she sees herself in the next 5 years. You never know, maybe in the next 2 hours. I don't know.
Exactly. You never know, man. You never know.
You never know, right? Because life is funny like that. Yeah, and it was such a lovely, lovely, lovely honor to have you here, and a pleasure, Mr. Lorraine, to be chatting with you.
Totally fine. Thank you so much. I've enjoyed my time here. So, Canada, I'm coming, Dubai, Australia, South Africa, Zimbabwe, wherever you are, Mr. Lorraine is coming to get you. So, just watch the space.
Just watch the space, yo.
Watch the space, man. Watch the space. Mr. Lorraine is coming. Mr. Lorraine is coming.
Oh my God, that is so hilarious. No, that is so amazing. And to all the viewers and everybody who joined in live, thank you so much. It was such an amazing moment with Mr. Lorraine, and I also hope you had a good time getting to know her. And those who were correcting me, Mr. Lorraine, she clarified that herself as to how she got the name Mr. Lorraine. But anyway, keep watching. I have another special guest next week, and you need to stay tuned for that because you do not want to miss that. We're going all the way to Zimbabwe, so look out for that. And thank you so much. I know, right? So I'm like, you know what? Where my people at? Why not? You know what I mean?
No. I've really enjoyed being here. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Thank you, Sharai, my daughter, for doing my makeup.
Ooh, I think you're looking good, Shirai. Shout out to you. And shout out to my aunts for linking us up. Fairly, this is for you. Shout out to y'all. I know it is live. But no, that's awesome. You have yourself a lovely weekend, and we'll still link up. Definitely. Keep in touch.
Great. See you in Canada.
Definitely. See you in Canada. Anyway, to everybody else, remember, little girls with dreams become women of vision. Look at her. She's got a dream and she's becoming a woman of vision. There you go.
Great stuff. Thank you very much.
All right. You're welcome.